Hey friends, Ben Kono here with my smart team, powered by I don't like this chicken wing that I'm putting out. What they put toward it, what they're lending, the collateral is sufficient to pay off the loan. If a bank forecloses, I'm just at a loss for words. Hey friends, Ben Kono here with my smart team powered by Production Realty. Today we are going to autopsy a dead real estate market. Let's open it up, dissect it, so that we can understand what the real estate market is doing today. 4 factors we're going to look at. Lending laws, lending practices. We'll look at interest rates, home price increases, and then finally, loan type. How does loan type impact a real estate market? Let's dive in and look first at lending practices. Back in 2006, 7, and 8, lending institutions were not as regulated as they are today. Loan officers and appraisers and bank officials, they could all talk together about home values. Banks could lend to people who were never going to be able to qualify to pay back the loan that they got. I think there's a story of a McDonald's employee in California getting an $800,000 or $900,000 loan. Well, she was making minimum wage. There's no way that she's ever going to pay it back. No. Now, today, there are so many hoops to jump through. Specifically, the Truth in Lending Act and the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act put some barriers in place that regulated the communication and made it harder for values to be inflated unjustly. Next, let's talk about interest rates. As you know, interest rates, they're on the rise. Even though they are significantly higher than they have been, we're still in a comfortable place considering that in the 80s they were 18, 19%. Interest rates impact buyers' ability to afford housing. And what many have thought is because interest rates are increasing, housing prices, just by nature, they have to drop. And I would say that's not true. Let's jump to home price increases. Because you may remember, if you lived through 2006 and 2007, when you were looking at house prices, they were skyrocketing. House prices were going up 10, 15, 20%. They were just jumping super high, super quickly. And so in late 2020 and 2021, and in this year when house prices just continued to increase at 5, 6, 18%, these increases, they were probably scary. But back in the early 2000s, home prices were increasing and buyers weren't bringing cash to the table. Today, home prices are increasing, but because of lending practices being better, houses still have to appraise. And if they don't, buyers are bringing extra cash to the table. So we have a secure rise in the real estate market. So to sum up how the real estate market is moving, how house prices are increasing, instead of increasing in a dangerous way, we're increasing in a healthy and stable way. Let's talk about this final piece, and then I'm going to talk through what I think is going to happen in the next several months. In the early 2000s, lending institutions were utilizing a myriad of different loan types. Some people had interest-only loans with a huge balloon payment at the end. Some people had adjustable rate mortgages. Others were able to qualify for a fixed rate mortgage. But because of unhealthy lending practices, it made it possible for banks to write loans that had a very low likelihood of ever being paid back. Let's talk about one in particular, the adjustable rate mortgage. In an environment where mortgage rates are increasing, people will utilize an adjustable rate mortgage to get a lower starting interest rate. What this does, though, is open them up to significant risk, because after a period of time, if the interest rates have continued to increase, well, so does their payment. So in the early 2000s, what homeowners saw was payments that all of a sudden doubled, or doubled and then some, and that led to the foreclosure crisis. Today, lending is very different. More than likely, if you have a loan on your house, you have either a 15, 20, or 30-year fixed rate mortgage, which means that the only factors that change your monthly payment are your taxes and your insurance. Your insurance by nature may increase slightly, but not a lot. And your taxes, well, there's laws in place to make sure that your property taxes don't increase at a rate that you can't afford. That means that when you get a loan on a house, you're stable, you're secure, and as long as there's not other life factors that contribute to it, you'll be able to continue to make your payments. Whereas in the early 2000s, that wasn't the case. So in light of all of these things, what do I think is going to happen? What should you expect to happen in the next several months? The real estate market has slowed down. There are fewer showings. There are fewer houses coming on the market too. So when we have fewer houses, when we have fewer showings, does that make it a declining market? I would say no. I would expect for real estate prices to not increase anymore. I think we've reached close to maybe what we'll call the top for now. But I wouldn't expect real estate prices to start to plummet. The thing that causes home prices to plummet would be an excess of inventory. And we don't have that right now. We don't have too many houses listed. Instead, we have few houses listed and few buyers in the market, which means in general, the real estate market is moving slowly, but it's not dropping. So as we round the corner toward Q4 of 2022 and into the first quarter of 2023, I would expect that traffic in the real estate market is going to stay low, that buyers will be slow to purchase, that there will be fewer buyers who are interested in purchasing now than there were at the beginning of the year because interest rates, they are higher. But we don't have an excess of homes on the market. We don't have a flood of foreclosures either because of the factors that we've already discussed. So, what does this mean? If you're thinking about selling your house, if you're thinking about buying a house, simply, you need to consult a professional. You need to talk with a realtor who understands the ebbs and flows of the market, who understands the rhythms of buying and selling and how to do that in a way that first increases your security in not being homeless, but then also makes it possible for you to sell your house without being really uncomfortable during the process or without leaving money on the table. Because something I say all the time, you only get to sell your house once. You only get to gain the equity in your house one time. So you should sell it at top dollar. You should sell it at the very top of what the market can support. If you're thinking about buying, if you're thinking about selling, start the conversation with us. Even if it's 6 months from now. We would love to help you understand what to expect, how the process flows, so that you can have success and sanity in your home purchase and your home sale. I'm so happy that you stuck around for this video. Again, I'm Ben with My Smart Team, powered by Production Realty, and I'll see you next time.